The media are very excited about the selection of a new White House press secretary to replace Jen Psaki, who will be off doing her show on MSNBC. Her name is Karine Jean-Pierre. And it's very important that she be the press secretary because, again, historic, massive historic. She is black and she is gay. And this means that we are supposed to ignore the fact that she happens to be a radical, crazy person. So, for example, she still has a tweet up that suggests that the 2018 election was stolen. Reminder, she wrote April 2nd, 2020, Brian Kemp stole the gubernatorial election from Georgians and Stacey Abrams. Wow, that tweet is still up. She blocked replies on it, so obviously a big fan of feedback. But she's still claiming that that election was stolen from Stacey Abrams. Remember, if you talk about stolen elections, Trump, Biden, this means you get banned from social media. If you say that Stacey Abrams is the legit governor of Georgia, then you're the new White House press secretary. Not just that, she apparently also called Fox News racist, which is one of her things. Here we go.
When you look at Fox News was racist before coronavirus. They are racist during the coronavirus. Fox News will be racist after the coronavirus. So there is nothing new here. I think the difference is they are all in on being state TV for Donald Trump.
State TV. So I love this. Here she is on MSNBC calling Fox News racist. She's not part of state TV on MSNBC. She literally is just going to go work for the White House now. She was already the deputy White House press secretary. Now she's the full White House press secretary. Slow clap for the geniuses in the media. Oh, and not just that, she also happens to like spouting anti-Semitic tropes about Israel. So apparently, she wrote, quote, in 2007, both Democratic presidential candidates attended AIPAC's annual convention. That's the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama even threw parties at the organization's signature event, signaling their commitment to AIPAC and its values. This past weekend marked AIPAC's annual convention in D.C. just 12 years later. Not one Democratic candidate for president showed, right? This demonstrates how far the Democratic Party has moved away from Israel. They made the right call, said Karine Jean-Pierre, because when it comes down to it, AIPAC's policies are not progressive policies. AIPAC's values are not progressive values. It's time to call a spade a spade. AIPAC is not progressive. You can't call yourself a progressive while continuing to associate yourself with an organization like AIPAC that has often been the antithesis of what it means to be progressive. She talks about how AIPAC tried to defeat the Iran nuclear deal. She suggested that AIPAC had tried to push the Muslim ban, which is not true. So, Karine Jean-Pierre, she's wonderful. So, but the important thing, of course, is that she fulfills intersectional check marks, and that's really what matters. Don't you agree? Don't you think so? By the way, worth noting that when it comes to the media and the treatment of Israel, it's just insane. So, there was a tragic incident in Jenin, which is in Judea and Samaria, the West Bank. It is an area controlled by the Palestinian Authority. There have been a spate of massive terror attacks in Israel over the course of the last several weeks. About 20 Israelis have been murdered in a spate of terror attacks, some perpetrated by Palestinians living in either the West Bank or the Gaza Strip, some perpetrated by Israeli Arabs who are in league with the Palestinians, these particular Israeli Arabs in league with terrorist groups. And so Israel has been now having to perform anti-terror actions in places like Jenin. Jenin, again, in Judea and Samaria. It's a major West Bank city, and it is thoroughly populated with people associated with terrorist groups like the Palestinian Authority's Fatah, Islamic Jihad, Hamas. And so Israel went in, and in the middle of a firefight, apparently started by Palestinian terrorists, a reporter was shot from Al Jazeera. She was there covering it. Her name is Shireen Abu Akleh. Okay, so immediately, Al Jazeera, she's an Al Jazeera reporter. Al Jazeera, which is a government Qatar-funded institute. It's literally state media for the government of Qatar. Al Jazeera is a garbage propaganda organization on behalf of radicalism. And they immediately put out a statement blaming Israel for the shooting. And then you have the Agence France Presse immediately retweeting that and saying, quote, veteran Al Jazeera journalist Shireen Abu Akleh has been shot dead by Israeli troops as she covered a raid on Jenin refugee camp in the occupied West Bank, an AFP photographer reports. Okay, there's only one problem with this. No one has any idea who actually shot the reporter. In fact, Israel said to the Palestinians, let's do a joint investigation as to who shot the reporter. The Palestinians media said, nope, not interested, which is somewhat suspicious. Apparently, they also rushed the body for burial without a proper autopsy being done. And now, pretty quickly, like within hours of the shooting, the Palestinians are beginning to back off of this. And now they're saying we actually don't know who shot her. We don't know where the bullet came from. So they are walking this back. According to the Israeli Defense Ministry run by Benny Gantz, preliminary findings from the investigation conducted by the IDF in the last several hours indicate no gunfire was directed at the journalist. On the other hand, we have seen footage of indiscriminate shooting by Palestinian terrorists, which is likely to have hit the journalist. So this sounds a lot like an enormous number of incidents that happen in the West Bank or Gaza Strip, where the Palestinians accidentally hit somebody who's sympathetic to them and then blame the Israelis for it. Or where they put, for example, press offices directly above a Hamas headquarters in the Gaza Strip. And then when Israel hits the Hamas headquarters, they claim that it was because Israel was targeting journalists. The entire media ran with this. The legacy media ran with the lie. And the lie went around the world before anybody ever bothered to ask a simple question, which is who actually shot the journalist. So well done, as always, from our legacy media. They just do a wonderful job. We're in a battle for the culture and for our values. Like and subscribe to help keep our videos on the front line of the fight and top of your feed.